Hello, everyone. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this special broadcast right here on the Riley King Network. Today is the 67th birthday of WMUR TV. WMUR TV first air date was March 28th, 1954, 67 years ago. All the WMUR TV staff do a great job covering the state of New Hampshire. Keep up the great work and happy birthday, WMUR TV. And now, let's take a look at some videos right now. Look back at WMUR. Let's go down memory lane. Here's a look at the early 90s promo.
Nines of nine.
I have the copy here.
I'll go right over the phone.
Run the sign again. Stun guns, snakes, and cheer gas.
Is this the latest radar?
Well, it's rotating on it. Do it.
Did you see that gig last night? Was that a real? That was a great
Thank
gig.
you.
I'm Tom Griffith reporting live tonight where police have staged what is described as a major drug bust.
It takes just 30 minutes to broadcast the news, but it takes 24 hours a day, every day to cover it. We should know. We're New Hampshire's #1 news team. 7 days a week. Morning, noon, and night.
Okay, next one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, kill him.
New Hampshire's News 9. The best news you'll hear all.
Okay, and there you go. And now let's take a look at WMUR News 9 openings.
No one knows New Hampshire like we do. Nines of nine.
Live from the studios of WMUR TV, this is New Hampshire's News 9, the Night Report.
Good evening, New Hampshire. I'm Tom Griffith.
And I'm Judy Fortin. Thank you for joining us.
Now, the news from New Hampshire, New England, and the world. With Tom Griffith, Kathy Burnham, meteorologist Rick Gordon, and Jeff Peterson with sports. This is New Hampshire's News 9 at 6.
It came with little or no warning. 16 people were killed when a C-130 transport plane crashed into a restaurant in southwestern Indiana.
More on the killer crash and a talk with the doctor treating Rochester's Sarah Edgerly coming up tonight. President Clinton winds up a whirlwind tour through the Granite State. Some new support for Republican Senator Bob Dole. And the rest of the GOP candidates work to separate themselves from the pack.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, Kathy Craig and Eric Reed with the Weekend Sports Wrap-Up. This is New Hampshire's News 9 Weekend Report.
Good evening, everyone. Amidst the fury of last-minute campaigning,
Coming to you from Manchester, you're watching New Hampshire's #1 source for news. Next.
The underdogs are coming home champions. The Patriots have brought home their first Super Bowl victory ever in a dramatic game against St. Louis. Many people took to the streets to celebrate, however, and not all the celebrations were kept under control. Find out where police were called out to deal with rowdy fans. And fans across the ocean rose early to see the Pats take the title. Find out what time the troops got up to watch the Super Bowl battle.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, this is New Hampshire's WMUR News 9 Daybreak.
It was an unbelievable ending to an unbelievable season. The New England Patriots wake up as Super Bowl champions. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to News 9 Daybreak. I'm Tiffany Eddy. What an exciting game.
Coming to you from Manchester, you're watching New Hampshire's #1 source for news. Next.
State health officials confirm the West Nile virus has been found in 2 dead crows. What's being done to prevent the potentially deadly disease from spreading? The state's highest court rejects an appeal in the case of one of the teenage Dartmouth murder suspects. And court documents reveal first-hand accounts of how the oil tanker Virgo might be involved with a fatal fishing boat accident off the Bay State coast.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, this is New Hampshire's WMUR News 9 this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, August 18th, 7 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us for News 9 this morning.
Coming to you from Manchester, you're watching New Hampshire's #1 source for news. Next.
A husband and wife from Alexandria are hospitalized after a struggle over a gun. Fire rips through a building in Canterbury, destroying a renowned artisan's woodshop. And after a sweltering week of weather, the Granite State is finally feeling some relief.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, this is New Hampshire's WMUR News 9 Midday.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Audrey Cox.
To you from Manchester, you're watching New Hampshire's #1 source for news. Next.
Presidential candidates Al Gore and Bill Bradley are duking it out on the campaign trail.
From the seacoast to the North Country, GOP candidates are stopping for your votes.
And officials are investigating allegations of sexual misconduct at the Hillsborough County Jail.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, this is New Hampshire's WMUR News 9 at 6.
And good evening, New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us tonight as the days tick down to the first of the nation presidential primary.
Coming to you from Manchester, you're watching New Hampshire's #1 source for news. Next.
Tonight, forecasters say Floyd is losing some of its punch as it moves up the eastern coast.
New Hampshire is ready for whatever Floyd brings. Safety precautions are already in place.
And several people are confirmed dead at this hour after a shooting at a Texas church.
Live from the WMUR Broadcast Center, this is New Hampshire's WMUR News 9 tonight.
And good evening, New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us tonight.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. We're WMUR News 9.
Now at noon, good travel weather, but the weekend itself could be a different story. We'll have the latest timeline ahead.
Tough times for some drivers trying to get to their holiday destinations where this snow made for very slippery roads.
Christmas is now less than a day away. Last-minute shoppers are hitting the malls. We'll catch up with some of them in a live report.
The yeas are 60, the nays are 39.
The final Senate votes on health care reform cast on this Christmas Eve, where the debate goes from here. Good afternoon, everybody. Aaron is off today. On this Christmas Eve, we are...
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. We're WMUR News 9.
A major nor'easter is wreaking havoc on the East Coast. Why we'll seat on the edge of our seats as southern New Hampshire rides along the northern edge of this upcoming storm.
The snow hasn't started here, but it is already slowing down holiday travel. A look at the delays and cancellations at the airport. People in the Granite State are stocking up before the storm, making sure they're prepared before the nor'easter arrives. And the snow blanketed the nation's capital, but it didn't stop the Senate from pushing forward on a new health care bill. New Hampshire senators weigh in on the latest progress that could make the overhaul a reality. Winter doesn't officially start until Monday, but you wouldn't know it looking at the eastern seaboard.
Now, WMUR News 9 tonight.
Now at 11, Hurricane Dean still making its way through the Caribbean islands and sending tourists fleeing for safety.
As Hurricane Dean passes Jamaica, it's got its sights set on the Cayman Islands and the Yucatan Peninsula.
And Tropical Storm Erin swamps homes in Oklahoma, leaving residents trapped. What happened during one dramatic helicopter rescue? Senator Barack Obama hits New Hampshire once again and faces tough questions about his level of experience. Officials in Utah concede 6 trapped miners may never be found. The reaction from family members tonight. And it's welcome home for the owner of a Temple Inn, finally back on track after facing some immigration problems. Good evening. Breaking news off the top tonight. The baby born earlier this month after a fatal crash that claimed the life of her mother has also died.
Now at 5:30, a blast of very heavy snow still hitting parts of the Granite State, but it looks to wind down very soon. What will follow overnight and the rest of the week.
Somehow we have to find a way to repair and fix our highways.
A big crowd showed up in Concord today to make their voices heard on a proposed gas tax, but actually, how much of this plan would go to road repairs?
That debate comes as President Obama announces new standards for commercial trucks, even though he may not have the backing of Congress.
And this year's Olympic Games aren't just a chance for seasoned athletes to shine. We'll tell you how potential future Olympians are getting to test their mettle on a world stage.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do in high definition. Now, WMUR News 9 at 5:30.
We will have the latest on the snow in a moment, but we continue to follow the breaking news in Plastow, where 3 people are dead, and the fire department says carbon monoxide is to blame.
Now at 6, the leaves are turning just in time for the long holiday weekend. A look at some of the fall festivities.
Temperatures will be much cooler compared to yesterday, and tonight will be enough snow in the mountains. How will things shape up for your Columbus Day?
A local firefighter honored almost 1 year after his death. How firefighters across the nation are coming together to remember the fallen. And a little girl with just 1 month to live. How the community is coming together for her and her family.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do in high definition. Now, WMUR News 9 at 6.
Well, the fall colors are showing across the state, and now the temperatures match. Good evening, New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Melinda Davenport.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. Now, WMUR News 9 Daybreak.
Well, good Wednesday morning to you. It is June 18th, and we are seeing those clouds kind of moving their way out. We had a lot of rain overnight.
Hurricane Nate barreling into the Gulf of Mexico this morning, when it makes landfall and how it could affect us here in New Hampshire.
Gulf Coast in the crosshairs, how they're getting ready for the hurricane. Plus, increased security at Fenway after investigators discover possible ties to the Las Vegas gunman. And Congresswoman Carol Shea Porter not running in 2018. Why she's saying no more after 4 years in Washington.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. Now, WMUR News 9 this morning.
Good morning, New Hampshire, 6 o'clock on this Saturday.
Now at 5, crews battle an out-of-control brush fire in Albany. Just how many acres have already been destroyed?
Dry weather continues into the start of the work week, timing out when we could get some rain and cooler temperatures.
Plus, an active warning in Hudson tonight after several animals fall ill. What wildlife officials say you can do to keep your pet safe.
This is really the first time that a candidate has used social media in the way that Trump has.
And Donald Trump says social media helped him win the White House, but now he's promising restraint.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. Now, WMUR News 9 at 5.
Tonight, crews are on the scene of at least 5 brush fires all across the Granite State. Some have been burning for close to 48 hours. Good afternoon. I'm Charisse LeClaire.
And I'm Adam Sexton.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. Now, WMUR News 9 Tonight.
A massive earthquake hit Nepal today, killing more than 1,800 people, and the death toll is still rising. Good evening, I'm Stephanie Woods.
Now on Daybreak, troopers out in full force for the holiday weekend, looking for dangerous, distracted, and impaired drivers.
The holiday is here, and so is the cold. A check on how cold and windy will be this Thanksgiving Day.
Fire officials in Belmont working to figure out what sparked a blaze at a farmhouse, the challenges crews faced while battling the flames. How Granite Staters are pitching in to make the holiday a little more comforting for those still displaced by the Massachusetts gas line disaster.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. WMUR News 9 Daybreak starts now.
Good morning, New Hampshire. Happy Thanksgiving.
Breaking news at 6. A crash at the polls on Election Day leaves a woman pinned underneath a car. How witnesses rushed in to help.
Plus, the battle for the corner office in Concord. The candidates' final thoughts before the polls close.
Officials believe New Hampshire is on track for a record turnout in a midterm election, plus lots of new voters registering today.
Another day of rain today, but the sun does make a return soon. That timeline, plus when the next system moves in.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do. WMUR News 9 at 6 starts now.
We start with breaking news in Windham tonight as voters head to the polls. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Griffith.
And I'm Jennifer Vaughn.
Okay, and there you go on that video. Now, let's take a look at what it's like working at WMUR News 9.
WMUR is a completely different TV station than what you'd expect in any other market.
We have a culture where content is important. Content, intellect, involvement in the community, making a difference, caring about the families that we interact with on a daily basis. And it's really fostered by Hearst at the highest level.
There's a difference between what you see from Hearst stations and what you see from other stations.
WMUR has a lot of clout in the industry. It's an important place to be.
Even though we're in the Boston market, we cover a unique geographical area and a set of interests that are separate from the market that we are in.
We've been able to do a lot of things that other TV stations can't do because you can reach so many people with one platform.
You can't forget the New Hampshire primary. The presidential primary is held right here in New Hampshire, which provides reporters a very rare opportunity to be able to interview these presidential candidates one-on-one, and it's also very rare for a TV station to have that full access to these candidates. There's opportunities here at WMUR that are not typical of TV stations. I've met, the last 3 presidents personally. I've seen every presidential candidate that's come through here.
One thing that really stuck out to me is when I first came here to interview, presidential candidates were coming in also to interview for a different reason.
And it's kind of neat knowing that if you're going to be president of the United States of America, you're going to walk by my desk.
There's a culture that promotes innovation and free thinking in the company.
The company's commitment to the digital space here at WMUR and at Hearst Television is second to none.
It feels like an honor to belong here at all.
WMUR really is a family.
I'm surrounded by people who love what they do.
The people chosen to be part of our family here are bright, they're intelligent, they care about content and substance, they are hardworking, they are driven.
We have a lot of very smart people and engaged newsroom. A lot of people that care about each other and care about what they do.
If you're here at WMUR, it means you are a very hard-working person and that you're very passionate about what you do.
If you get here and you work hard, it will be noticed, and it can help take your career to the next level.
I think one of the best things about working at WMUR is the opportunity to grow both personally and with your career. I think that it is, especially in the sales department, it is a game changer for your life.
I came here as an associate producer days after graduating from college. I worked the early morning shift, and I was able to continuously ask questions and stood up and said, hey, I would like to produce. Are there any opportunities? And the managers listened to me. And eventually a job opportunity opened up for being a weekend producer, and I went after it. I tell that story just because I think that here you have the opportunity to rise up. You have the opportunity to get better at the craft, and you have people that are willing to help you reach your goals.
Okay, and there you go on that video. And now let's take a look at this video. Erin and Sean discuss what it's like on daybreak.
From discovery to delivery, our commitment drives us to bring innovative...
The dynamic in the morning. Yeah. We are powered by caffeine. They are early morning hours.
That's the glue to the whole team.
And laughter keeps us awake.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of laughter and a lot of caffeine. What time do you guys get in?
Get in a little before 4 o'clock. Get out of bed about 3 o'clock, which is much more difficult in the wintertime, I can assure you. In fact, that is probably the most common question that you were asked on this shift. Every time you go to the grocery store, I say, hey, aren't you the guy from the morning news show? I said, yeah. What time do you wake up in the morning?
And I say to those people, you're watching us? You should be in bed.
Most of the people are up anyway. So.
Yeah. No, the alarm goes off at about 2:30, 2:35. Snooze. 2:40. Snooze.
Do you snooze in the morning?
I have to hit that snooze
I
button.
I would never get up. But obviously when you see the look and the hair, you obviously has been up for hours.
But when you guys get in, you do have a crew that's been here for hours.
Well, that's the thing. People always say to us, you get up so early, and then I remind them that there are 2 producers that are here overnight, literally doing all the work. They do the heavy lifting. We kind of come in and make it all look good in the end, I suppose.
Or not.
Depending on how it goes.
No.
The newsroom is never empty.
No, it isn't. And seriously, our overnight producers, they work one of the toughest shifts you're going to work in TV news.
Is there ever a point, at what point of the morning does delirium, like what time does like the giggles and like everybody kind of get like...
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. I said I get at 10 to 4, so usually about 10 to 4.
Right at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, the giggles. Actually, I'm not giggling when I come in, but then, once I get the coffee in me.
It's too bad we have commercials because people would really enjoy what goes on.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. What? Really? Should I check my notes here for a minute?
You're okay.
I'm more serious. Do you talk to me about how technology has changed, even recently, but since you guys have been on the desk, how technology has changed and how it helps kind of the flow of the show?
Huge. It is huge. Now we have our laptop. We're plugged in with Twitter and Facebook. We have our cell phones there. We're getting constant information from viewers throughout the show, and we're updating our show with tips that we're getting during the show from people on Facebook.
You got to remember, in the old days, you relied on everything coming through the producer who's getting it from somebody else who's out in the newsroom getting all this information. Well, now we still get that, but we're getting it right off the laptop, right off of our phones, as she mentioned before. And it's wild because the viewers out there give you information constantly. Again, we mentioned they were up really early in the morning. If you have a storm going on or an accident, they're writing right in, so we can see it almost real time.
Right. It actually has made it more interactive. We're able to update people on information a lot quicker too, as well.
But it's kind of changed the standard as well. When something big happens, if we don't see a photo from a viewer in like 2 minutes, we're like, wait a minute, what's going on out there?
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, it used to rely a lot on you guys on camera talking when something breaking happened. I mean, how much faster is breaking news? Do you have a visual to go with it?
It goes so much quicker. And really, during breaking news stories, we're constantly relying on the viewers to send in pictures and tweet and send us a message via Facebook and everything. I mean, really, it happens instantaneously.
Because you remember in the old days, you'd have to put up a graphic or just have 2 anchors on camera talking about it. But of course, you want to get as many visuals as you can.
Right.
It's wild. Remember, everybody's got a camera in their pocket now, and they're able to just shoot an email within seconds.
And you're both very active on Facebook. Do you find that when you go out in public, people really like think that they're up to date on your lives and what's been going on?
How much of our lives?
Well, I mean, do people feel like they know you better now that you have an online?
I think so, and we know them better, which is better for us. I think that's one of the things that I find so interesting is we get to know what people are talking about because we're able to just look on Facebook. So we're able to see what people are really interested in knowing about a certain story.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, they're kind of like cyber friends, but you get to know them through Facebook. And sometimes, I don't know if you're out at the store somewhere, and somebody says, hey, I'm Larry, and I'm friends with you on Facebook, and I go, oh, Larry so-and-so, of course, how's the family? It's created this whole other community.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the iPad.
We love the iPad.
They're shaped like this, they're about yay big.
No, it's nice having a tablet in front of you instead of a stack of scripts, so that when they decide to kill, in our business, kill means get rid of a script, you don't have to go through all of the scripts to find it. Now you just press refresh, and it's done.
Yeah, plus I used to have a habit of taking each piece and crinkling a little bit, so I would be able to flip each page, which really annoyed her. And now I don't do that anymore.
It didn't annoy me. It just seemed like...
You used to look at me every morning and say, you have to crinkle your scripts. I did. It was, it's an OCD thing. It helped because I knew I'd be able to flip the scripts, but you don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother process we're able to avoid now.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have really embraced the tech. Did you find the learning curve to be challenging, or was it fairly natural?
No,
I think technology in general.
Well...
I mean, I think your first reaction is change. Oh, gosh, we're going to do some change here, but...
I'm the technical guru, really, in the morning.
And the adrenaline junkie as well.
No, why do you laugh about me being really good on the computer?
Because first of all, when she diagnosed it, she just said, there's a problem with it.
Can you look at this laptop?
Can you be more specific? I don't know, it's broken.
Can you fix it, Sean?
Can you just now put it in a folder in my brain? Not that I'm a guru, but usually if I have some idea of where to go, no, it's broken, it just won't do anything, and then she gets frustrated. And usually closes it very firmly and stops, and then we'll try to calm her down and figure it out. And usually it's just like, oh, you didn't hit the on button. No, it's not that bad.
No, but I think, I don't think it took much time. I think what is difficult sometimes is when you're checking Facebook and, oh, right, we're doing the news.
Well, you realize because you're constantly talking to people online and you're reading things online, oh, there's a show going on as well. So it's become, I don't want to call it a distraction, but it's another task that you're doing.
Oh, you're always multitasking in the morning.
Yeah, and I can only do one thing at a time, so obviously it's a problem.
Those are all my questions.
That was it?
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
Special, I can't.
Ask us about the weather guy.
130 million kilowatt hours of...
Okay, and there you go. And let's take a look at this video. Old Technology, the Way Things Were, from Fritz Weatherby. Let's take a look at that.
I am here and now. I am where drivers become legends.
On Upper Elm Street. The studio was made... Oh, coming in 3. I've been in this Coming in 3. I've been in this television business since 1969, and I gotta say, in these 45 years, everything has changed. Former New Hampshire Governor Francis Murphy first put WMUR TV on the air on the 28th of March, 1954. WMUR, that's for Murphy. I turned 18 that year. That same year, 1954, my brother Robbie played the piano every week on a local show on this station. Jerry Carney hosted the program. I used to drive Robbie over from Milford for the gig. He was only 11. I remember the show. I remember the building. Sally Zeiler danced. Local people lip-synced to popular records. Hum and Strum sang songs and did pattern. Uncle Gus did his kids' show. Back then, the entire television operation was run out of a converted private home on Upper Elm Street. The studio was made up of 2 downstairs rooms in the house, just rooms. Upstairs were the offices. The control room was in the rear. Big cathode ray cameras, black and white only. Sometimes a tube would be down and the station would have to go on the air with 1 camera, just a single camera. Local news was simply read like it was on the radio, no visuals. 15 years later, in 1969, I was out of the United States Army and I was working as a cameraman, a film photographer. For what is now New Hampshire Public Television, we shot 16mm black and white film with Oricon cameras. Also, these Bell and Howell cameras that wound up. And we shot silently with those cameras. Channel 11 had cameras that recorded magnetic sound on a track of audio tape that was coated on the edge of the film. Over here at Channel 9, Fred Coker was working then, and Fred was the most versatile newsman in New England. And he also had an Oricon news camera, but his Oricon did not have magnetic sound. This camera had what was known as optical sound. This was sound that was put on the edge of the movie film with a light in the camera. When the film was developed and it was run through the projector, a light was put through that track, and that's the way they got sound from it. Not as good as magnetic sound, and the development of the film had to be perfect, but it worked. Fred's camera, by the way, held only 3 minutes of film, and that was it. Fred had no camera operator. He would, for instance, come to the Concord State House and set up the camera on a tripod with the State House in the background. He would then place, say, the President of the Senate on a mark. He would turn on his camera and bound over to the mark and do the interview. And then he would go back, shut off the camera, rush back to the station, and I'm not kidding here, he would develop his own film in a tank with chemicals. He'd then dry it, load it into the projector, and cue it up. He, of course, wrote the story, and on air, he did the anchor position for the evening news. He worked 14-hour days. I have the greatest respect for Fred Coker. Today I have a cell phone that takes far better movies than any 16mm camera ever could do. I don't know if the stories I write are any better,
though. Okay, there you go. And now let's take a look at a day in the life at WMUR TV. Let's watch a day in the life at WMUR TV. Here we go.
Welcome to a place that you rarely see. This is the control room at Channel 9.
Yeah, you don't see it, but you definitely feel its effects. This is where the magic happens. The director sits right here.
Yeah, pushing all the buttons to make us look good. Don't touch those buttons.
No, I don't know how that works.
You know, it was a Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, the last week of March 1954.
Dignitaries gathered at 1819 Elm Street in Manchester, the home of WMUR Radio, for a 2-hour opening ceremony. Something big was about to happen.
And what happened became this. WMUR TV, New Hampshire's first television station, had hit the airwaves.
Yeah, that's right. Former Governor Francis P. Murphy, founder of the station, declared it is the hope of WMUR TV that the people of New Hampshire realize that it is their station designed to serve them.
And things have changed a bit since that Sunday afternoon, but one thing hasn't, that desire to serve our community.
Yeah, so tonight, as we celebrate all the ways we've grown as a station, we'd like to share with you something we've never shared before, a behind-the-scenes look at a typical day here in our newsroom.
We chose one random day in February and let 3 cameramen wander where they pleased, and wander they did. It was a bit strange being on the other side of a news camera, I have to admit.
Yeah, now I realize how nerve-wracking it can be to be on that side of the camera. So sit back, and for the next hour, take a look at a day in the life of WMUR News.
Hello, newsroom.
We're over
And is the truck going to be able to park out of Nashville?
We're hoping so.
School visit mail. That's what it's all about. And a letter from a middle school in Bedford, which is on my way home from work. I think I'm going to have to hand deliver the answers today. Think that will freak out the middle school kid a little bit? Maybe just a little? For coffee? They said you have an open invitation anytime.
Okay, help me. The C's had a 6-game win streak over the Jazz coming in. Wouldn't it be winning? Okay, so this morning we are sending Ray to Nashua, where police are looking for the driver behind a deadly hit and run. Somebody took off after hitting somebody on the corner of West Hollis and Pine Street, so they're still looking for the driver right now. Ray's going to go out there and try to tell people the information so that they can call in and we can get this person behind bars.
Candy, this last one is a take 2 there.
Okay.
All right. Great.
At 3:30 in the morning. It's about as glamorous as it can be. Usually, when I come in, I start working on the web, so just trying to refresh the media window, that top window, for like the most recent stories, and I put Ray's story to the front so that we can kind of highlight that, pull in new slideshows and videos, and just kind of spruce it up so it doesn't look like it did when people went to bed last night.
I hope you brought your earmuffs today, Brewer, because it's chilly. The weather is actually kind of a big discussion in the morning. We have to check in with the 11 o'clock meteorologist, who's usually my cat ad, and then Kevin gets in around 2 on snow days, so we have to wait for him and check with him and see how the roads are looking. We'll call DOT and see how the roads are looking. We'll judge by the amount of closings, but a lot of times schools wait for us to see how bad the roads are and stuff before they decide on closing.
Neighbors on Pine Street heard what sounded like a car accident. We were all watching.
The alarm goes off at about 2:30, 2:35, snooze, 2:40, snooze.
You snooze in the morning?
I have to hit that snooze
No, I
button.
couldn't do that. I would never get up. But obviously when you see the look in the hair, you obviously he's been up for hours.
The secret to the Daybreak Show? These 2 people right here. Will and Kate.
They are overnight producers. They work one of the toughest shifts you're going to work in TV news.
West Hollis Street because the sidewalks were covered with snow and ice.
Getting a little cold this morning. It was nice this past couple of days. I think they like to watch me suffer, and as they're sitting inside and having their nice warm cup of coffee or tea or whatever, and think, there but for the grace of God go I. You know. Showtime. How far away are we, Dave?
But you're going to make it worse on yourself. I mean, you working making it worse on yourself. Turn yourself in. Do what's right.
Now on daybreak, an impassioned plea from neighbors and police after a man was hit by a car in Nashua.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do in high definition. Now, WMUR News 9 Daybreak.
Well, good Tuesday morning, and thanks for joining us today. It is a bit colder out there this morning.
He's behind a wife and 3 children. Ray Brewer is live there in Nashua this morning. And Ray, do we know anything about the vehicle that police are looking for at this point?
Unfortunately, not much, Sean. Now investigators say that they have only a vague description of that vehicle, that nobody really got a good look at it.
So this just coming into our newsroom in the last 15 minutes or so. 3 men are due in court today after trying to rob a home in Bristol at gunpoint late last night. Police
during breaking news stories, we're constantly relying on the viewers to send in pictures and tweet and send us a message via Facebook and everything. I mean, really, it happens instantaneously.
Because you remember in the old days, you'd have to put up a graphic or just have 2 anchors on camera talking about it. But of course, you want to get as many visuals as you can.
Right.
It's wild. Remember, everybody's got a camera in their pocket now, and they're able to just shoot an email within seconds.
Still to come on News on Daybreak this morning, building your motivation to get in shape.
Jen pointed me because it's a great program for kids like my buddy Parker.
Big Blake and Meredith, but just a chilly breeze. The sun's not going to really do a lot of work.
Are you so happy to be up and awake and going? Good morning!
Unmatched professionalism at all times, even during commercial breaks, as you can see.
And we'll continue to follow that story. Still to come on News on Daybreak this morning, building your motivation to get in shape.
It's nice having a tablet in front of you instead of a stack of scripts, so that when they decide to kill, in our business, kill means get rid of a script, you don't have to go through all of the scripts to find it. Now you just press refresh.
Well, 2 stray dogs rescued by a member of Team USA during the Olympics in Sochi have arrived in the U.S. on a chartered plane.
An Arctic front that will come through on Thursday. Today, just some pop-up afternoon thunder shower, or snow shower activity out there. And
Sean's fixing his hair, putting some powder. Now we have our laptop. We're plugged in with Twitter and Facebook. We have our cell phones there. We're getting constant information from viewers throughout the show, and we're updating our show with tips that we're getting during the show from people on Facebook.
And 50 of the new ski apps, Saw and Tag, are dead.
New ski shot.
Thank you so much. You got
Now, Nashville police are asking if you have any information about this accident that you give them a call. That number is 594-3500.
reporting live in Nashville, Ray Brewer, WMUR News.
And now, our You Local Hotshots.
Oh, look at this. Looks like Tuca the cat found kind of an awkward place to take an afternoon cat nap, but I don't know. I think he's pretty happy where he is.
Sure is.
Just don't sit back on the couch. Yeah. Meow.
2 things. 1, Aaron, did you just meow on air?
I did.
Post-mortem, we just kind of talk about anything that might have gone wrong during the show, anything that didn't go kind of as we had it scripted. If we had any issues or anything like that, we just kind of sit around and chat about that.
This is actually looks really good today.
Is that everything that went wrong?
I don't have a lot of notes.
I'm the technical guru, really, in the morning.
And the adrenaline junkie as well.
No, why do you laugh about me being really good on the computer?
Because first of all, when she diagnosed this, she just said, there's a problem with it.
Can you look at this laptop?
Can you be more specific? I don't know, it's broken.
We are powered by caffeine. They are early morning hours.
That's the glue to the whole team right
And
there.
laughter
Caffeine.
keeps us awake.
I'm gonna keep on loving
I find it interesting that everyone's eating.
Kurt's a big singer. Cause it's the only thing I want to do. Cause it's the way I wanna keep on loving you.
Very musical shift. Yeah. Well, when you're delirious, music comes naturally.
Hello, everybody.
Have a good day, Steph. Great work as usual, Stephanie.
Hi, Darren. How are you? What do you want to talk about?
About gerbils.
You got a gerbil?
Yeah.
How many?
With 2 pairs. And 1 ugly hamster.
1 ugly hamster?
Yeah.
Why do you call him ugly?
Because he's ugly.
Central Street, Bishop resident, a 92-year-old female reportedly operating. That's for CMR, phone number 8 Central Street.
I was just checking in, see if there's anything going on. Yeah. That guy's going to be okay in the stalling, right? When I come in, I check my email and just see if there's any breaking stories that have come in by email in the morning. Sort of follow up on some of the notes that have been left by some of the other producers and the assignment editor last night. So those are the first things that I do. I check right before I go to bed every night. But it's I have about 100 emails just about in the last 8 hours. So when we get about we get as many as 500 emails a day. Let's see, to whom it may concern. I guess that would be me today. Let's see.
When I get in, I check what happened overnight, and I try to get going in the morning with, going through those emails, see when I need to talk to Renee about, because Renee works in the morning on the web and TV, and then I hit the stats. I start finding out what happened yesterday, and how can we improve today, and what can we share on Facebook and Twitter and social media.
We try to move forward very quickly. We try to stay ahead of the curve. We try to think about, okay, right now people are really into Facebook and Twitter. What's next?
Hey, Ray. I'm gonna send you up to Superior Court in Concord for Ray Proudy's plea and sentencing. He's the budget director for Southern New Hampshire University, who allegedly stole more than $1 million while he worked there. The plea and sentencing is scheduled for 9. There's a press release from Bristol about an attempted robbery in an apartment building last night. They arrested 3 people. I'm having Joel shoot some video where the attempted robbery happened.
Hello.
Good morning, Amy.
She can send you over the link. So hold on just a moment.
Hey, Brian, it's Hirschberger. How you doing? Yeah. Check it out.
This is the breakfast of champions right here. Can't start the day without egg and cheese.
If we take a snapshot of the day and we look at just the morning, so the morning meeting starts at about 9:30. The managers initially discuss, okay, here's what's happening during the day. And we figure out from our perspective what we think is really important that day, what people are talking about, who is coming to the table with ideas. We're looking at social media, we're looking at our website comments.
Meat House, right to know request from the Liquor Commission. Liquor Commission says they are owed more than $9,000.
And then we bring in reporters and producers and say, okay, what's important to you today? What are you seeing and hearing out there?
There was an attempted robbery in Bristol last night. They arrested 3 people.
On the web, today's Tuesday, so we have the deal of the week. Not much for deals there, so I'm not sure it's worth teasing, but it's there. We're on the pothole patrol.
There's this road, there's one in Manchester and there's one in Nashville where it's like, looks like it's been strafed by World War II bombs, and people are just getting mowed down with their cars, their tires popping. Yeah.
Was it Korea?
No, it was the big Berkeley effect.
I think the difference for this story, because we've done a lot of those stories, is this young girl who's gone on this letter writing campaign. She's written to Gatzis, to Governor Hassan, to Make-A-Wish, to the monarchs, because they work with Make-A-Wish, to Senator Shaheen. So it's just a different angle.
You want to call on girls who want to listen to her house?
Sure, I'm sure someone will step up.
You want to call Pepper, please?
So at any given moment, we could have 5 things going on at the same time, or 20, and that's not to mention the videographers who are already out shooting, and in our edit bays editing, and then we could be doing cut-ins on the air at the same time, or running a live wire and monitoring what people are posting from around the state.
I'm working on a special report today about prisoners getting paid while they're behind bars. It means I don't have to go outside and be cold. I will log my interviews and make some follow-up calls and put it all together wait a really long time for David Hurlbert to approve it, and then I'll voice it before I leave.
I'm writing a chronicle piece. This is fascinating, by the way. The whole piece is right here on that little disc.
Hey, good morning. This is Josh McKelvin with Channel 9. How are you? Good. I'm looking for someone with the consumer division involving a story that we're efforting today.
We have a few other good local stories, but it's always important for the news to snap a photo to edit video.
We are trying to talk to a reporter in Italy who's been covering this story of John Durkin, a U.S. college student from Rye, who was killed in Rome. And the reporter, of course, doesn't speak English very well. So right now I'm conferencing together our reporter, Jen Crompton, with a translator, and then with the reporter in Italy, so that we can find out the latest information.
A lot of stories. We're just not quite sure exactly where they're going to go or how it's going to work today yet. There's also I'm not worried about filling the show.
You know, we were running 30-year-old technology. Now we have introduced a lot of technology into the mix. We've put a lot of computers in. We've got laptops, desktops, and we're moving files around instead of moving one image from here to here on a tape.
So I'm taking a look at what's going on in the new newscast and seeing what's coming up, see what Ray is working on today, this SNHU stolen money plea, and yeah, then I'll eventually write that up, edit it up, put his video with it when it's all ready to go, and yeah, get on with the day.
On Live 2, we've got a very, very snowy Washington, D.C. up on Live 2 right now.
Today's wonderful. We're a little short-handed today. We have a lot of crews all over the state.
Where is it? Yeah, it's in Hudson. You have to look at the
Across from the Irving on 102.
Where are we going, Andy? Hudson, and then we're going back to Manchester.
Personally, I really don't care what they cover. I'm kind of the how guy, so whatever they're covering, I'm just making sure that they have everything they need to cover them. So cameras, cars, live equipment, you know, TVUs, satellite trucks, engineers, we need everything. Sometimes you leave at 9 o'clock in the morning and you don't even know when you're coming home again, and we're a lot more self-contained these days. So if all you really need is a Wi-Fi and a laptop, and you're pretty good to go.
We have a lot of good stories. If those stories will work out is the question. So we're working through a number of them right now.
You deal with paper jams every day.
Video wishes. So, aside from a recent video wishes from Andy, I think we haven't received many. But that Andy video wishes was our second top video over the last 2 weeks.
No, he's happy now.
Late in the day, you know.
It'll be a good show. I hope I didn't jinx it.
Out behind the barn. Howdy, howdy, and a good evening. A good Saturday night on the Joytime Country Music Jamboree. Yes, sir, I got my education out behind the barn. That's probably why I'm here today. Yes.
A guilty plea from the former budget director who stole more than $1 million from Southern New Hampshire University.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Erin Sanglo.
Can I preview the VO for military cuts, please?
Even as it lightens up tonight, we're still talking a couple of gusts over 10 to 15 miles an hour, adding that little bit of an extra chill to the air all the way through the day tomorrow. So,
that's it for today's Grow Green. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you both, and we will be right back.
Thank you. That was very good. Drought pushes growers and ranchers to drastic measures. We'll have the numbers for you tonight at 5. That does it for us. Have a great afternoon.
Time for the webcast.
Well, we're here at the Manchester Boys and Girls Club, and we're going to be doing a
story today about beep kickball. Is that the ball?
This is the ball.
Oh, all right.
Well, you have to imagine that it's a lot like baseball or kickball, except you're missing second base, and everything beeps.
They always say that. In my first job, when I first started doing reporting a long, long time ago back in radio, my first job was on a manual typewriter. Now, everything is a computer. Everything is computerized. It's, it's gone from having a desktop computer to being able to have a laptop computer. And now your computer is your phone. Your computer is kind of with you all the time. The consumption of news is so immediate now. It's so immediate. People just want their news right away. And we're able to deliver it to them.
Really great because all the reporters and the photographers have iPhones and iPads, so more or less you can follow them through their day and actually see what they have for stories before they call and tell you what they have, because they send back pictures of the people, the great stories that they have, and the great video that they have. So it makes it really helpful to have that as communication.
It's a lot more work, but at the same time, I think it makes you a lot more efficient.
Because of the wind.
Okay, and there you go on some behind the scenes day in the life of WMUR. Cool, cool, cool. And again, happy birthday to WMUR TV. Happy 67th birthday, and very awesome that they've been on air since 1954. Happy birthday, and hopefully you have many great years ahead of you, WMUR TV. Happy 67th birthday. Thank you for watching, and see you next time for another